10 days before Everest, I left my husband. I was on my way home from a training hike. It wasn't planned or thought about. That day, I just couldn't go home. Have you ever really disappointed a lot of people? That day, I upset a lot, and I mean a lot of people. I stopped at the Banff Springs Hotel on my way home and I sequestered myself for 3 days. I disappointed my husband. We were leaving in 10 days to trek to base camp before he made his ascent up Everest. He said he wouldn't climb Everest if I stayed. I said, "You're climbing. Besides, it'll be a better story." And of course, he made it. I disappointed my friends. I can't be friends with you if you're not married. Divorce is contagious. And I disappointed my parents. They cut me out of the family for a while and completely cut me out of the family after my second divorce, after a violent domestic incident, saying, "You need to take your beatings like a good wife, and good girls don't get divorced." All of these people had expectations of my role in the marriage, which was to stand by and support my husband regardless of the circumstances. But what were his requirements to me? In my first marriage of over 15 years, he required me to be a certain weight, stating he would leave me if I ever got fat. He called me fat after I had our first child. After our second child, though, I smartened up and I was a swimsuit model 6 weeks postpartum. It was pretty sick, though. I was called dumb, useless, and often belittled in front of friends and family. Sometimes we often end up in situations where we're expected to remain regardless of the circumstances. It may be cruel remarks, an occasional hit, or disrespectful actions. Society pushes us to think it'll make us strong, or to stay, in some cases, to stay for the kids. In the last few years of my marriage, I was slowly dying. I couldn't get out of bed some days, and I only confided in my doctor. And he wrote me a prescription and said, "Take these. People will like you better." But my life on the outside was a fairy tale. So I left for the kids, so they would learn how to treat people. In my 3-month second marriage, I almost died in a violent domestic incident. I wanted to go back so badly, though. So I left for my kids. I was in an abusive marriage and no one knew. I was suffering behind closed doors, like so many do silently. In leaving, I learned to lean into the discomfort because every reward in freedom requires a step of courage, to raise our voices to a roar, to be a force not to be reckoned with.